I'm Selena Hill, and welcome to another episode of The New Norm on Black Enterprise. Today, I have the privilege to speak with Grammy Award-winning producer, rapper, philanthropist, art connoisseur, and cultural icon Swizz Beatz to talk about his immersive skating ring and art exhibit in Saudi Arabia called AlUla on Wheels Part 2. Swizz, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So last year, AlUla on Wheels drew thousands of people to the Arabian desert. I want to talk about this art installation. You've been posting about it on social media. We know you're super excited to bring it back for year two. Tell us about it.
Man, AlUla on Wheels is a good intentions activation. Myself, my partner Noah Tahir, and it started as a fun conversation and being in Saudi and seeing the amazing landscape of AlUla. It's like, man, you know what? There's a lot of activations, but what if we did a skating ring where the locals or people that fly in, they can have a skating experience. I grew up in the Bronx where we had Skate Key, and if you're from Jersey, you got Branch Brook, and it was just so many skating activities that we was able to have growing up. And I was like, man, imagine bringing that to the desert and people having fun with their families, music. And it was also a give back as well. We wanted to do a give back because a lot of people go not only just to Saudi, but to other places just to take things. We wanted to bring something that the people can feel whether we're there or not. And it's been an amazing journey so far. And shout out to the entire RCU team and AlUla team.
I mean, just emerging the two worlds, right? Like you said, you bringing it back to the Bronx, Skate Key, and you taking it all the way to another side of the world, Saudi Arabia. For those of us who've never been to Saudi Arabia, maybe never even been to the Middle East or a desert, what does that feel like? Is it like the Bronx meets Saudi Arabia? Like, what is that?
Um, Saudi is just so unique. It's a place of its own, and it's super big. So you have AlUla, you have Jeddah, you have Riyadh. So just with those three right there, they're three different parts of Saudi, which they're all three different experiences. I wanted to do the skating ring in AlUla because of the landscape. You see the landscape of just the natural background. I've never been to a skating rink that had that type of background, and we're flying in DJs from around the world. And I think it's a great introduction to Saudi, although the whole region is becoming, so familiar with the world, and so many great things is happening there. This will be my sixth year, maybe more than that. I think 6 years being there, and it's been fun, and I love to connect where people can say, oh, okay, that's the Bronx, or this Saudi, or that's New York, this Saudi, or that's Atlanta, this Saudi. Like, just create the cultural connection with a place that might be a little bit far on the airplane, but not far in our hearts.
I love it. And like you said, Swizz, you've had a deep connection with Saudi for years. We saw you have your own camel racing team, Saudi Bronx. We see you
Yes.
constantly over there with the art installation. What is it about Saudi that just really captured your heart and mind like that?
Um, but I love the Middle East period, like just the culture, um, just the culture period, I always was a fan. And but I seen with Saudi that it had, almost over 70% of the population is it's the youth, is under 40, under 30. And I just seen that there was a lot of great opportunities for creatives more than anything. It's like, the youth is now running it, and I thought that was amazing. And it's just a beautiful place. The people are very nice. I've never been in Saudi with security, right?
Really?
I have to have security in LA, but I don't run around in Saudi with security, right? So these are the different things. And I remember, the funny part, I remember when I used to go there earlier, people used to tell me to be careful. Now, when I'm leaving Saudi, coming back to the States, they're telling me to be careful, right? So, you know, things has changed, but it's just been amazing. It's amazing, our first project was putting the art on the promenade in Jeddah for the Formula One. It's a permanent installation. So that was like the first project that we did. And then we went into a couple of other projects, but AlUla on Wheels is something that's special to our heart. AlUla on Wheels Part 2, the 25th, which is my wife's birthday. So it's a special day.
Oh yeah, big things are dropping on the 25th. For those who say like, okay, never been to it, but I feel like Alula and just like your presence is like you said that cultural connection, right? Folks may not be thinking about Saudi. I know a lot of folks here in the States are like, I'll go to Dubai. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll take a trip to the Caribbean. But why would you encourage more people, especially those of us in so embedded in the culture to take that trip and experience Saudi?
I mean, I think you should travel in general. I think you should go discover places in general. Um, I just know that what Saudi's doing and about to do, I haven't seen it in any of the other places yet. And all of the other places that you're mentioning have what they do best. They have their landmarks. I've been to all of those places as well, but I just see that the future in Saudi is a whole different plan. The 2030 vision is a whole different plan than what I've seen in other places, and I think it's interesting because it has a lot to do with the creatives. That's really the hook for me. It's the creatives, and then the people. That's there. That's amazing. So for me, I think that it's still early, but people are going to see. Um, and Saudi is welcoming everybody. I'm not an ambassador of Saudi. I don't get paid to talk about it. I'm speaking about it off of real live experience and just seeing it grow every month. I'm like, wow, okay, this is okay. Well, this is happening. All right, the Winter Olympics is happening. Okay, this is like it's just so many things that's happening, and I urge everybody to catch up.
Oh yeah, to catch up. Those of us we're paying a lot of attention to what's going on in the Middle East. I'm not sure how much you are, but Gaza, Jordan, not too far from I think northern Saudi. Um, when we talk about art, right, and music, those are the things that you are iconic in. How can we use that to heal, right? When people think of what's going on in Gaza, our hearts are broken, especially for the Palestinians, and we see what's happening over there. Um, how can we bring some joy and love and just some peace at a time like this?
Well, music has always been the cure for that. Like you look at throughout all of the times, music has always brought the world together because it's a universal language. What's going on is very unfortunate. And what's been going on just in the world, period, is very unfortunate. But one thing about arts and music is it always brought the people together. It always gave people a moment to get themselves together, a moment to mourn, a moment to get some energy out to go out and represent what they want to change and be the change as well. So I just think that the creativity is a universal language as well because it's a way to express, and it's just been that's just been since forever. I can think, even when Martin Luther King and with the march, like you always heard music that went with it. There was always creativity that went with it. Um, yeah, I think that's for me. I think that it's so many things that could be done, but music and arts is what I specialize in, and I've seen those things help many people and change things as well.
Absolutely. That's definitely what you specialize in. And speaking of art, it was also just announced that you and your wife have a new exposition called Giants Art from the Dean Collection of Swizz Beatz and Alicia Keys, dropping at the Brooklyn Museum this February. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Oh man, that's a big deal. Um, Giants is the title. We named the show Giants because we're not really giant collectors of our own culture. There's always other people owning our culture, and we wanted to use this show to double down on it's okay to own your culture. Because a lot of people want to go outside of things that don't look like them, which is cool because we do that every day, right? But I think starting with home and collecting pieces like this amazing toy behind me, but also, being open minded to having some ceramics by Julia Chang, which is not African American, right? But we also have to start home and educate home and things like that. And so for the collection to be in Brooklyn Museum is a big, big deal. It's the first of its kind. It's our personal collection.
Wow.
It's about 20% of the collection. The Brooklyn Museum was able to curate from the collection. Shout out to Ann Pesanek. Shout out to Kimberly, our wonderful curator. And it's a big deal for us. February 10th is the opening, but it'll be in the Brooklyn Museum all the way, I think, through July, and then from there to go on tour around the world. So everybody can have a chance to see this collection instead of it just being in storages or hanging on our walls. My walls are empty now, so it's just like I'm sitting here because it's like the one piece. But if you look over here, it used to be a piece there. It's not there. It's on the way for the people to enjoy.
So y'all literally took the pieces in your house and brought it to the Brooklyn Museum. Wow.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was a couple of the Brooklyn Museum shows a little bit shy under 200 pieces, 200 works. But mainly the artists in the show are the giants to us. Those are the giants, the artists. And the works are oversized. A lot of the works are oversized in the show because it's very rare that you see artists of color able to paint oversized works because, you know, um, it's just very rare, because it's easier to sell a smaller piece into someone's home, but then you see other artists can do 80-foot pieces, monumental sculptures, and things like that, and they don't have no problems with it. And so that was another reason why we wanted to show people that we can be the artists can be diverse in that area as well. And then the third part, and then fourth part is people coming into the show that's future artists and wanting to get into it. They know that there's no limits. Sky's not the limits. It's just a view for them. They seeing a 30-foot piece. They's like, wow, like, and they painted this, or they seeing, a big, the big wheel sculpture that won the biennial by Arthur Jaffa, and just getting educated on the works that's in front of them, and maybe inspire them to be the next.
Mm. What would you say about just the value of Black art? You're an avid art collector. I'm pretty sure you made a lot of money on art, or some of your pieces have really gone up in value. Is the same thing happening in Black art to Black art?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel for me though, and my wife, I can speak for as well. We don't collect art based on what it's going to be or things like that. Like a lot of the art that we collected, these artists were not being paid. A lot of them was not being paid attention to. A lot of them didn't have a market. We was in early supporting the artists, very early, but we never really looked at a painting and said, okay, what color is this artist?
Mm.
Like we collect from the heart, right? And we're not just black art collectors. We're art collectors because a lot of people want to put it in a box. Oh, you guys are the biggest black art collectors. Like, nah, we have like extensive collection of artists from all backgrounds, all walks of life, all colors. The reason why we double down on African American art, black and brown art, is because we wasn't collecting our own stuff, and we're going to other people's house that are not of color, and they got more artists of color hanging on the walls in their house. So we just wanted that. We just wanted to change that and send a message to other collectors to change that as well. It's okay to have a Chagall, you know, next to a Micheline Thomas, or whoever your favorite artist is at that point. It's okay to mix it up, but we do have to support our own culture at some point.
Mm. And last thing, Swiss, speaking of supporting the culture, I want to bring it just all the way back to Verzuz real quick. one of the biggest cultural phenomenons that we've seen in the past few years. Obviously, you're the architect of that as well. When can we expect another versus battle? And I mean, we've seen so many epic ones. I'm like, who's left?
A lot of people are left. And it was good. It was good. It was good to take this break and regroup. Me and Tim did this during COVID. We was bringing joy to a lot of people's lives with our show, but we didn't get a chance to reflect and take time out for ourselves, as because everything happened so fast. And what we did was we're resetting everything. We're done resetting everything, and we got some announcements that the people will see soon, and we'll be back like we never left. That you get bet on.
Okay, can you hint on anybody? Like, is there anyone that we would never expect? Like someone that you think we're just gonna blow the coaches right now who's going to battle?
I think it's a lot of those type of people. I'm not going to spoil it. Like I got it. We've been gone so long that I got it. Like, the way that people get the announcement and the release and the visuals that go with everything. I think it's pretty special that everybody would get to see it that way. Instead of me blowing it up as much as I want to talk about it. I think that the people deserve to get it the proper way. Just like any other announcement, that's Showtime.
Okay, well, we're gonna be waiting, sis. We waited on that next versus announcement. Thank you again. Just let everyone know again, AlUla on wheels. Just bring it back in.
Yeah,
When does it drop? How can we support? Talk about that one more time.
yeah. Lula on Wheels, first skating rink, maybe in Saudi, but I'm gonna say in AlUla in Saudi. Part two, we did part one for 2 years. Now we're going on our third year with part two. This is gonna be the beginning of part two. And if you get the chance, go visit AlUla and go visit AlUla whether the skating rink is there or not. But it's gonna be there. But I think that we should travel as much as possible to new places, and AlUla is definitely amazing. It's a UNESCO site, heritage site. You can get to learn about other people's culture that maybe tap into your culture. Because we're not that far apart with as we think. And so it's a very educational, spiritual place. It's one of my favorite places where my wife loves to perform. Our family, our kids been there. It's just amazing. So, but go see AlUla on Wheels and follow the socials if you need some more information.
We got it. Thank you so much, Swizz, for your time and everything you've been doing for the culture. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Super blessings.